Have you ever found yourself constantly bending over backward for others, afraid of saying no, apologizing for things that don't really need an apology, or feeling drained because you're always putting everyone else's needs ahead of your own? If so, it might be time to ask yourself, am I respecting myself as much as I respect others? Self-respect isn't just about how others treat you. It's about how you treat yourself. It's about knowing your worth, setting boundaries, and standing up for what you need without guilt or hesitation. In this episode, we'll explore 11 powerful strategies to help you stop being overly accommodating, break free from toxic patterns like people-pleasing, and cultivate a stronger sense of self-respect. These aren't abstract concepts. They're practical, actionable steps you can start applying today. By learning how to set boundaries, say no without fear, and take care of your emotional well-being, you'll begin to feel more confident, assertive, and in control of your life. And most importantly, you'll start living on your own terms, without constantly feeling the need to please everyone around you. If you're ready to stop being soft to everyone and start respecting yourself more, let's get started. Lesson 1. Stop being a people pleaser. Do you often find yourself saying yes to things you don't want to do just to avoid disappointing someone? Do you prioritize everyone else's needs above your own, even when it leaves you feeling drained or resentful? If so, you might be stuck in the cycle of people-pleasing, and while it might seem like you're being kind and considerate, it's actually a habit that undermines your self-respect. People-pleasers often act out of fear of rejection, fear of conflict, or fear of not being liked. The problem is that when you constantly put others first, you start neglecting your own well-being, and over time, this leads to feelings of resentment, low self-esteem, and burnout. You teach people that your needs don't matter, and they begin to expect you to always accommodate them. The key to breaking free from this cycle is learning to value your own needs as much as you value others. This doesn't mean becoming selfish or inconsiderate. It means recognizing that your time, energy, and emotional well-being are just as important as anyone else's. By respecting your own boundaries, you send a clear message to yourself and those around you. I matter too. Here's a practical way to start. The next time someone asks you to do something that doesn't align with your priorities or makes you uncomfortable, pause before you respond. Ask yourself, am I saying yes because I genuinely want to, or because I'm afraid of how they'll react if I say no? If it's the latter, try saying no politely but firmly. For example, you can say, I'd love to help, but I can't commit to that right now. You don't owe anyone an elaborate explanation. Your time and energy are valuable, and protecting them is a form of self-respect. At first, it might feel uncomfortable to say no or to prioritize your own needs, especially if you're used to always accommodating others. But with practice, you'll notice a shift. You'll feel more confident, less resentful, and more in control of your life. You'll start to attract people who respect your boundaries rather than those who take advantage of your kindness. As Epictetus once said, no one is free who is not master of themselves. By learning to stop people-pleasing and start respecting your own needs, you take a crucial step toward becoming the master of your own life. Remember, true kindness isn't about sacrificing yourself for others. It's about giving from a place of strength, not obligation. Ask yourself today, am I respecting my own needs? Or am I constantly prioritizing others at my expense? If it's the latter, start small. Say no to one thing that doesn't serve you, and notice how it feels. Over time, you'll build the strength and confidence to stand up for yourself without guilt or hesitation. Lesson 2. Cut the constant apologies. Do you catch yourself apologizing for things that don't really require an apology? Maybe you say, "I'm sorry," when someone bumps into you, or you apologize before asking a simple question. While apologizing is important in certain situations, over-apologizing can weaken your confidence and signal to others that you don't value yourself as much as you should. When you constantly apologize, you unintentionally send a message that you're at fault or that your presence is inconvenient. Over time, this habit can undermine your self-respect and cause others to take you less seriously. Apologizing too much also creates an internal belief that you're always in the wrong, which can erode your self-esteem and make it harder to assert yourself. Of course, genuine apologies are necessary when you've made a mistake or hurt someone, but apologizing for things that aren't your fault or for simply existing does more harm than good. Instead of saying "I'm sorry" out of habit, start practicing assertive communication that respects both you and the person you're speaking to. Here's a simple strategy. The next time you feel the urge to apologize for something minor, pause and ask yourself, is this really something I need to apologize for, or am I just filling the silence? If it's unnecessary, try replacing "I'm sorry" with a more neutral or positive phrase. For example, instead of saying "sorry for bothering you," say "thank you for your time." Instead of "I'm sorry I'm late," say "thank you for waiting." By shifting your language, you maintain respect for the other person without diminishing your own. This small change helps you communicate confidently and reinforces your self-worth. Over-apologizing isn't just about words, it's about mindset. Start paying attention to how often you say "sorry" in situations where it's not needed, and remind yourself that you have a right to take up space and express your needs without guilt. Assertiveness doesn't mean being rude or dismissive. It means respecting yourself while respecting others. The Stoics believed in controlling what you can and letting go of what you can't. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Constantly apologizing for things outside your control only drains your energy. Instead, focus on what you can control: your words, your actions, and your attitude toward yourself. Ask yourself, am I apologizing because I've done something wrong, or am I apologizing out of habit? If it's the latter, start practicing more assertive communication. Over time, you'll notice a shift, not just in how others perceive you, but in how you perceive yourself. You'll feel more confident, more respected, and more in control of your interactions. Remember, cutting out unnecessary apologies doesn't mean ignoring your mistakes. It means valuing yourself enough to know when an apology is truly needed. By doing so, you'll strengthen your self-respect and communicate in a way that reflects your true worth. Lesson 3. Set boundaries and own your space. Have you ever said yes to something you didn't want to do, just to avoid conflict or disappointing someone? Or perhaps you felt uncomfortable in a situation but stayed silent because you didn't want to appear difficult? If so, it's likely that you need to work on setting boundaries, an essential skill for protecting your self-respect. Boundaries are the invisible lines that define what's acceptable and unacceptable in your life. They help you protect your time, energy, and emotional well-being. Without clear boundaries, you end up feeling drained, resentful, and overlooked because you're constantly giving more than you should. Setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's an act of self-respect. It shows others that you value yourself and won't tolerate behavior that compromises your well-being. One of the biggest misconceptions about setting boundaries is that it's about pushing people away or being harsh. In reality, boundaries are about mutual respect, respecting yourself enough to communicate your needs and respecting others enough to be clear with them. Healthy boundaries create stronger, more balanced relationships because they prevent misunderstandings and resentment. Here's a simple way to start. Identify one area in your life where you feel your boundaries are being crossed. It could be at work, with friends, or even with family. Once you've identified it, think about what behavior you're uncomfortable with and how you can assert your boundary in a calm, respectful way. For example, if a colleague regularly interrupts your work with non-urgent requests, you could say, "Kanti, I'm happy to help, but I need to finish this task first. Can we discuss it later?" If a friend always expects you to be available, you might say, "I care about you, but I also need time for myself. I won't always be able to say yes." At first, setting boundaries might feel awkward or even scary, especially if you're used to putting others' needs first. But over time, you'll notice something powerful. People will start to respect you more because you respect yourself. Those who genuinely care about you will appreciate your honesty, and those who don't may drift away, making room for healthier relationships. Another important aspect of setting boundaries is learning to say no without guilt. Many people fear that saying no will make them seem rude or unkind. But in reality, saying no when something doesn't serve you is an act of self-care. You don't have to explain or justify your no. Sometimes a simple, polite, "I can't right now," is enough. The Stoics believed in the importance of guarding one's mind and energy. Epictetus said, "No great thing is created suddenly. By setting boundaries, you're creating space for what truly matters in your life, whether it's personal growth, meaningful relationships, or simply peace of mind." Here's something to reflect on. Where in my life am I saying yes when I really want to say no? Choose one instance where you can start practicing boundaries this week. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but remember, setting boundaries is a skill, and like any skill, it gets easier with practice. Remember, you're not responsible for how others react to your boundaries. You're responsible for your own well-being. By setting boundaries and owning your space, you're making a powerful statement. I value myself, and I won't compromise my self-respect for the comfort of others. And that's one of the most important steps you can take toward building lasting self-respect. Lesson 4. Put your emotional needs first. How often do you find yourself prioritizing everyone else's feelings while ignoring your own? Maybe you're always there to listen to a friend's problems, but when you're struggling, you keep it to yourself because you don't want to burden others. Over time, this habit of constantly putting others first can leave you feeling drained, unfulfilled, and even resentful. The truth is, putting your emotional needs first isn't selfish. It's essential for your well-being and self-respect. Many of us are taught from a young age to put others ahead of ourselves, but when taken to the extreme, this can lead to neglecting our own emotional health. Just as you can't pour from an empty cup, you can't be truly present for others if you're constantly running on empty. Prioritizing your emotional needs allows you to recharge, maintain balance, and approach relationships from a place of strength rather than exhaustion. Putting your emotional needs first doesn't mean ignoring others. It means learning to care for yourself so you can show up as your best self. This starts with practicing self-compassion. Instead of being overly critical of yourself when things go wrong, try treating yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a close friend. If you're feeling overwhelmed, give yourself permission to take a step back and rest. Self-compassion helps you build inner resilience and reinforces the idea that your well-being matters. Another key practice is identifying what you need emotionally. This might sound simple, but many people are so focused on others that they've lost touch with their own emotional needs. Take a moment to ask yourself, what do I need right now to feel better? Am I giving myself enough time to process my emotions? Am I surrounding myself with people who support my well-being? Once you've identified your needs, it's important to communicate them clearly. For example, if you're feeling overwhelmed and need space, you might say to a friend, "I care about you, but I need some time to recharge. Let's catch up later." Communicating your needs doesn't make you weak. It shows that you respect yourself enough to honor your emotional well-being. At first, prioritizing your emotional needs might feel uncomfortable, especially if you're used to putting others first. You might worry about seeming selfish or letting people down. But remember, when you take care of your emotional health, you're not only helping yourself, you're also creating healthier, more balanced relationships. People who truly care about you will respect your need to take care of yourself, and those who don't, well, they might not deserve the energy you've been giving them. The Stoics believed in maintaining inner balance and emotional clarity. Seneca wrote, "A mind that is too busy cannot think clearly." By prioritizing your emotional needs, you create space for clarity, growth, and true self-respect. Here's a simple exercise to try. The next time you feel emotionally overwhelmed, pause and take a few deep breaths. Then, write down how you're feeling and what you need in that moment. It could be as simple as taking a walk, journaling, or talking to someone you trust. This small act of tuning into your emotional needs helps you build the habit of prioritizing your well-being. Ask yourself, am I giving myself the same care and attention I offer to others? If not, it's time to start. Putting your emotional needs first isn't about being selfish. It's about respecting yourself enough to take care of your well-being. And when you do that, you'll find that you have more energy, clarity, and emotional strength to offer the world around you. Lesson 5. Don't fear rejection, embrace it. Rejection is something most of us dread. Whether it's being turned down for a job, feeling excluded by a friend, or hearing no when asking for something important, rejection can feel personal and painful. But fearing rejection can lead to a dangerous pattern. It makes you avoid risks, stay silent when you should speak up, and constantly seek validation from others. If you want to build self-respect, you have to learn to embrace rejection instead of fearing it. Why is rejection so powerful? Because on a deep level, it triggers the fear of not being enough. If they rejected me, maybe something's wrong with me. But here's the truth. Rejection is often more about the situation or the other person than it is about you. It doesn't define your worth or your potential. In fact, learning to handle rejection with grace is one of the greatest signs of personal strength and self-respect. When you stop fearing rejection, you free yourself to live more boldly. You stop making decisions based on what others might think and start prioritizing what's best for you. This shift allows you to take more risks, say no when something doesn't align with your values, and focus on opportunities that truly matter. Here's a mindset shift to help you embrace rejection. Instead of seeing rejection as failure, start seeing it as feedback. Every rejection teaches you something, whether it's about what doesn't work, what you need to improve, or simply that the situation wasn't right for you. For example, if you're turned down for a job, it might be an opportunity to reflect on your skills or look for a position that's a better fit. If a personal relationship ends, it might be a chance to evaluate whether it truly supported your well-being. Another way to embrace rejection is by exposing yourself to it intentionally. It might sound strange, but practicing rejection can reduce your fear of it. Try asking for small things you normally wouldn't, like asking for a discount at a store or requesting something unusual from a friend. When you practice hearing no in low-stakes situations, you build resilience and become less affected by it when it happens in more significant contexts. The Stoics believed in focusing on what's within your control. Epictetus taught that while you can't control how others respond to you, you can control how you respond to rejection. He said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it matters." By choosing to see rejection as part of life's process, you take away its power to hurt you and instead use it as fuel for growth. Here's something practical you can try. Think of one area in your life where fear of rejection is holding you back. Maybe it's asking for a promotion, sharing an idea, or expressing your feelings to someone. Challenge yourself to take that step, knowing that rejection is just one possible outcome and not the end of the story. Whether you're accepted or turned down, you'll gain confidence simply by taking action. Ask yourself, am I holding back because I'm afraid of hearing no? If the answer is yes, remind yourself that rejection isn't a reflection of your worth. It's a part of life. The more you embrace it, the more self-respect you build, because you're no longer seeking approval to validate who you are. Remember, every successful person you admire has faced rejection. What sets them apart is their willingness to keep going despite it. When you stop fearing rejection and start embracing it, you open yourself up to new possibilities, and that's where true growth and self-respect begin. Lesson 6. Build confidence, one decision at a time. Confidence doesn't come from one big moment. It's built slowly, through the small decisions you make every day. Each time you make a clear decision, stand by it, and follow through, you're reinforcing a sense of self-respect. On the other hand, constantly doubting yourself, second-guessing your choices, or waiting for others to validate your decisions weakens your confidence and makes you dependent on external approval. Why is decision-making so closely tied to self-respect? Because when you make decisions for yourself, you're telling your mind, I trust my judgment and I'm capable of leading my own life. This internal trust is the foundation of confidence. Even when a decision doesn't lead to the desired outcome, standing by it teaches you that you can handle whatever comes your way. Many people struggle with confidence because they're afraid of making the wrong decision. Here's the truth. There's no such thing as a perfect decision. Every choice carries some level of uncertainty, and waiting for the right moment often leads to inaction. The key is to make the best decision you can with the information you have. Trust yourself and learn from the outcome. Here's how you can start building confidence through small decisions. 1. Practice making quick, low-stakes decisions. The next time you're faced with a simple choice, like what to eat for lunch or how to spend your free time, make a decision quickly and stick with it. 2. Stop overthinking every outcome. Instead of agonizing over whether you're making the right choice, remind yourself that every decision is an opportunity to learn and grow. 3. Follow through on your commitments. Confidence grows when you consistently keep the promises you make to yourself. If you decide to wake up earlier or start a new habit, following through reinforces your trust in your own abilities. Another powerful way to build confidence is by celebrating small wins. Many people overlook their progress because they're too focused on big, long-term goals. But confidence isn't built on major achievements alone. It's strengthened by recognizing every small step forward. When you acknowledge your small victories, You reinforce the belief that you're capable of making progress, even in difficult situations. The Stoics emphasized the importance of action over endless deliberation. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." In other words, confidence isn't something you wait to feel. It's something you cultivate by taking action, one step at a time. Here's a practical exercise. At the end of each day, write down one decision you made and followed through on, no matter how small. Reflect on how it made you feel. Over time, you'll start to see a pattern. Each small decision contributes to a growing sense of confidence and self-respect. Ask yourself, am I hesitating because I fear the outcome, or because I don't trust myself? If it's the latter, start small. Make one decision today without asking for anyone else's input, and stand by it. Even if the result isn't perfect, you'll feel stronger simply because you took action. Remember, confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. And the best way to build it is by making small decisions, learning from them, and trusting yourself to keep moving forward. With every choice you make, you're reinforcing your self-respect and becoming the person who leads their life with clarity and confidence. Lesson 7. Communicate clearly and stand tall. Have you ever noticed how the way you communicate affects how others perceive you and how you perceive yourself? Whether it's the words you use, your tone of voice, or even your body language, clear and confident communication is a key component of self-respect. When you express yourself clearly, you send a message to both yourself and the world. I know my worth, and I'm not afraid to stand by it. Many people struggle with communication because they fear being misunderstood or judged. As a result, they downplay their opinions, soften their words, or add qualifiers like "I think" or "maybe" to avoid sounding too assertive. While this might seem polite, it often weakens the impact of your message and makes you appear unsure of yourself, even when you know exactly what you want to say. Clear communication starts with choosing your words carefully and speaking with purpose. Instead of over-explaining or apologizing unnecessarily, practice getting to the point. For example, instead of saying, "I'm sorry, but I was wondering if it might be okay if we could possibly," say, "Can we?" or "I'd like to." The difference is subtle, but it conveys confidence and clarity. Equally important is your non-verbal communication, your posture, eye contact, and tone of voice. Even if your words are clear, slouching, avoiding eye contact, or speaking too softly can undermine your message. Standing tall, making steady eye contact, and speaking with a calm, steady tone conveys confidence and helps you feel more self-assured. Here's a practical exercise to improve your communication. The next time you're in a conversation, practice speaking slowly and deliberately. Focus on using clear, direct language and avoid adding unnecessary qualifiers. Pay attention to your posture. Stand or sit upright. Keep your shoulders back and maintain comfortable eye contact. Notice how these small changes affect both your confidence and how others respond to you. Another key to confident communication is learning to handle disagreements without losing your cool. Disagreements are inevitable, but how you respond to them shows whether you respect yourself. Instead of raising your voice or backing down, practice staying calm and sticking to your point. Use phrases like, "I see where you're coming from, but I have a different perspective," or "I respect your opinion, but here's how I see it." This approach shows that you're confident in your views while remaining respectful of others. The Stoics believed in maintaining composure and clarity in all interactions. Epictetus taught, We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Clear communication isn't just about expressing yourself, it's also about listening carefully and responding thoughtfully. When you communicate with this balance, you earn the respect of others while reinforcing your own self-respect. Ask yourself, am I communicating in a way that reflects my self-worth? If not, start by making small adjustments. Speak a little more clearly, stand a little taller, and listen a little more carefully. Over time, these habits will strengthen both your communication skills and your confidence. Remember, how you communicate shapes how others treat you, but more importantly, it shapes how you feel about yourself. By learning to speak clearly, listen thoughtfully, and stand tall, you build self-respect from the inside out. Confidence in communication isn't about being loud or forceful. It's about being clear, calm, and sure of your own worth. Lesson 8. Handle conflict without losing your cool. Conflict is inevitable. It's a natural part of life. Whether it's a disagreement with a colleague, a misunderstanding with a friend, or a clash of opinions with a family member. The key to self-respect isn't avoiding conflict altogether, but learning how to handle it with composure, clarity, and confidence. When you manage conflict without losing your cool, you send a powerful message to both yourself and those around you. I respect myself enough to stay calm, and I respect you enough to engage constructively. Many people fear conflict because it triggers anxiety or discomfort. This fear often leads to 2 common reactions: aggression or avoidance. Aggression, raising your voice, blaming or attacking, may feel like you're standing up for yourself, but it damages relationships and leaves you feeling drained. Avoidance, staying silent or backing down to keep the peace, might prevent immediate tension, but it often leads to unresolved issues and diminished self-respect. The healthiest approach lies somewhere in between: assertiveness without aggression. Assertiveness means expressing your needs, boundaries, or perspective clearly and respectfully without escalating the situation. It's about standing your ground while remaining calm and open to dialogue. Here's how you can practice handling conflict assertively. 1. Stay calm and breathe. When you feel tension rising, take a moment to pause and breathe deeply. This helps calm your nervous system and gives you time to gather your thoughts before reacting impulsively. 2. Focus on the issue, not the person. Instead of blaming or attacking, focus on the specific behavior or situation. For example, say, "When X happened, I felt," instead of "you always." This keeps the conversation constructive and reduces defensiveness. 3. Use I statements. Phrasing your concerns with I statements, e.g., "I feel," "I need," makes it clear that you're speaking from your own perspective rather than accusing the other person. This approach encourages collaboration rather than confrontation. Another important aspect of handling conflict is managing your emotional reactions. It's natural to feel frustrated or defensive during an argument, but allowing those emotions to take control often leads to regret later. Instead, remind yourself that staying calm isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. When you remain composed, you maintain control over yourself, which reinforces your self-respect. If the other person becomes aggressive or refuses to engage constructively, it's okay to disengage. You don't have to participate in every argument, especially when it becomes unproductive. Saying something like, "I think we need to take a break and come back to this later when we're both calmer," shows maturity and respect for both yourself and the other person. The Stoics believed that while we can't control external events, we can control how we respond to them. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Conflict is one of those external events you can't always avoid, but how you respond is entirely within your control. Here's something to try. The next time you face a conflict, commit to staying calm and assertive. Focus on listening actively, expressing yourself clearly, and finding a resolution rather than winning the argument. After the conversation, reflect on how it went and what you can learn for the future. Over time, you'll find that handling conflict becomes less stressful, and you'll feel more confident in your ability to stand up for yourself without losing your composure. Ask yourself, am I reacting to conflict, or am I responding thoughtfully? If you find yourself reacting impulsively, practice pausing and taking a breath before speaking. Remember, self-respect grows when you learn to handle difficult situations with calmness and clarity. By mastering the art of conflict management, you not only protect your self-respect, but also earn the respect of those around you. Staying calm under pressure isn't just a skill. It's a form of self-care that strengthens your confidence, reinforces your boundaries, and helps you maintain inner peace. Lesson 9. Build healthy relationships that lift you up. Take a moment to think about the people in your life. Do they support your goals, respect your boundaries, and encourage you to grow? Or do they drain your energy and make you question your worth? The truth is, the quality of your relationships plays a huge role in your self-respect. Surrounding yourself with people who uplift you rather than tear you down helps you maintain a positive mindset and reinforces your sense of worth. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, trust, and support. When you're in the company of people who genuinely care about you, they encourage you to be your best self while respecting your individuality. In contrast, toxic relationships, those marked by manipulation, criticism, or disrespect, erode your confidence and make it harder to respect yourself. The first step to building healthier relationships is learning to identify what's healthy and what's toxic. Healthy relationships feel balanced. You're allowed to express your feelings and set boundaries without fear of judgment. Toxic relationships, on the other hand, often leave you feeling drained, anxious, or unappreciated. Here's how you can start improving the quality of your relationships. 1. Set clear boundaries. People who care about you will respect your limits. If someone consistently disregards your boundaries, it's a sign that the relationship may not be healthy. 2. Seek reciprocity. Healthy relationships are two-way streets. If you're always the one giving, whether it's time, energy, or emotional support, it's important to ask yourself whether the other person is truly contributing to the relationship. 3. Let go of toxic connections. This can be one of the hardest steps, especially if the person has been in your life for a long time. However, walking away from relationships that no longer serve you is a powerful act of self-respect. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be as simple as creating distance and prioritizing your well-being. Building healthy relationships isn't just about avoiding toxic people. It's also about nurturing positive connections. Spend time with people who inspire you, who listen without judgment, and who celebrate your successes without envy. These are the kinds of relationships that uplift you and help you grow into the best version of yourself. The Stoics believed in the importance of surrounding oneself with virtuous individuals. Seneca wrote, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve. The process is mutual, for men learn while they teach." This philosophy reminds us that healthy relationships aren't just about receiving support. They're also about giving it in a way that promotes mutual growth. Here's something you can do today. Make a list of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Ask yourself, do these people make me feel valued and respected? Do they encourage my growth? If the answer is yes, consider how you can deepen those connections. If the answer is no, think about what changes you can make, whether it's setting boundaries, spending less time with certain individuals, or seeking out new, more positive relationships. Ask yourself, am I surrounding myself with people who lift me up or pull me down? Remember, you have the power to choose who gets access to your energy. By prioritizing healthy relationships, you create an environment that nurtures your self-respect and helps you thrive. Ultimately, building healthy relationships is about quality, not quantity. It's better to have a few supportive, positive people in your life than a large group that drains you. Surround yourself with those who believe in you, respect your boundaries, and encourage your growth. And be that kind of person for others too. Healthy relationships aren't just good for your emotional well-being, they're essential for cultivating lasting self-respect. Lesson 10. Be your true self and keep growing. Have you ever tried to fit into someone else's expectations just to be accepted or liked? Maybe you've changed the way you talk, act, or even think, hoping to please those around you. While this might bring short-term approval, over time, it chips away at your self-respect. True self-respect comes from living authentically, being who you truly are, not who others expect you to be. When you hide parts of yourself or pretend to be someone you're not, you send a subtle message to your mind. Who I am isn't good enough. But the truth is, embracing your authentic self is one of the most powerful ways to build lasting confidence and self-respect. It means showing up as you are, flaws and all, and trusting that you're worthy of respect simply by being you. Being your true self doesn't mean refusing to grow. It means growing while staying true to your values and identity. Life is a journey of constant learning and self-improvement, but that growth should come from a place of self-acceptance, not self-rejection. You can strive to be better while still appreciating who you are in this moment. Here's how you can start embracing your true self. 1. Identify what matters to you. Take time to reflect on your values, passions, and beliefs. Ask yourself, am I living in a way that aligns with what's truly important to me? When you live according to your values, you feel more grounded and confident. 2. Stop seeking external validation. It's natural to want approval from others, but when your self-worth depends on it, you give away your power. Instead of asking, what will they think of me? Start asking, what do I think of myself? The only validation that truly matters is your own. 3. Accept your imperfections. No one is perfect, and trying to be will only lead to frustration. Embrace your flaws as part of what makes you unique. Self-respect grows when you stop trying to meet impossible standards and start appreciating yourself as you are. Another important part of staying true to yourself is letting go of comparison. It's easy to look at others and feel like you're not doing enough, but comparison is a trap that only steals your joy. Instead of measuring your worth against others, focus on your own journey. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and keep moving forward at your own pace. The Stoics believed in the power of self-mastery and authenticity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This reminds us that instead of trying to fit into others' definitions of success or worth, we should focus on being true to ourselves and living according to our own principles. Here's something practical you can do. Take a few minutes to write down 3 things that make you who you are, your strengths, values, or qualities you're proud of. Then, think about one area where you might be holding back from being your true self, whether it's at work, in a relationship, or in a social setting. Challenge yourself to show up authentically in that area, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. Ask yourself, am I living as my true self, or am I trying to be someone I'm not? If you realize you've been hiding parts of yourself, don't be hard on yourself. It's something many people do, but starting today, commit to being a little more honest, a little more real, and a little more you. Remember, self-respect isn't about perfection, it's about authenticity. By embracing who you are and staying committed to your growth, you create a life that feels genuine and fulfilling. Being your true self is a lifelong journey, but with every step, you strengthen your confidence, deepen your self-respect, and move closer to becoming the best version of yourself. Lesson 11. Take care of yourself like you mean it. How often do you put your own well-being at the bottom of your priority list? Maybe you're too busy taking care of others, handling work, or meeting endless demands, and by the end of the day, there's little time or energy left for yourself. But here's the truth. Self-respect starts with self-care. When you consistently take care of your physical, mental, and emotional health, you send a powerful message to yourself. I matter, and my well-being is important. Many people view self-care as an indulgence, something they'll get to when they have time. But real self-care isn't about occasional pampering. It's about consistently meeting your basic needs, creating healthy routines, and nurturing yourself so you can show up fully in your life. Neglecting self-care isn't just harmful, it erodes your confidence and self-respect over time, because it signals that your needs aren't worth prioritizing. Self-care can take many forms, but it's essential to focus on 3 key areas. 1. Physical care. Your body is the foundation of your well-being. Prioritizing things like proper sleep, nutritious food, regular exercise, and hydration isn't just about looking good. It's about feeling good and having the energy to live your life fully. Small habits like stretching in the morning, taking a walk, or staying hydrated throughout the day can make a big difference in how you feel and function. 2. Mental care. Mental self-care involves taking time to clear your mind, manage stress, and nurture a positive mindset. This can include practices like mindfulness, journaling, or simply unplugging from screens for a while. It also means setting boundaries with people or activities that drain your mental energy and protecting your peace. 3. Emotional care. Emotional self-care is about acknowledging your feelings and giving yourself the space to process them without judgment. It also means surrounding yourself with people who uplift you and learning to say no when something doesn't serve your well-being. Practicing self-compassion, being kind to yourself when things go wrong, is a key part of emotional self-care. Here's something important to remember. Self-care isn't selfish. It's what allows you to be your best self, both for yourself and for the people around you. You can't pour from an empty cup. When you neglect your needs, you eventually burn out, and that benefits no one. The Stoics understood the importance of caring for oneself in order to live a balanced life. Seneca wrote, "It is part of the cure to wish to be cured." In other words, taking responsibility for your well-being is the first step toward living a fulfilling life. Self-care isn't a luxury. It's a responsibility you have toward yourself. Here's a practical exercise to get started. Write down one small way you can take better care of yourself today, whether it's going to bed earlier, saying no to something that feels overwhelming, or simply taking a few minutes to breathe and relax. Then, commit to doing it, no matter how busy or distracted you feel. Over time, these small acts of self-care add up, creating a stronger, healthier version of you. Ask yourself, am I taking care of myself the way I would take care of someone I love? If the answer is no, start making small changes today. Remember, respecting yourself begins with treating yourself like someone who deserves care, attention, and compassion. By taking care of yourself like you mean it, you not only boost your self-respect, but also improve every other area of your life. You'll have more energy, more clarity, and more confidence to pursue your goals and build meaningful relationships. Self-care isn't just something you do. It's an ongoing commitment to yourself, and one of the most powerful ways to show that you truly respect who you are. Self-respect isn't something you're born with. It's something you build through daily actions, decisions, and habits. Throughout this episode, we explored 11 powerful lessons to help you stop being overly accommodating, stand up for yourself, and start living a life that reflects your true worth. From learning how to say no, set boundaries, and prioritize your emotional needs, to embracing rejection, handling conflict, and building healthy relationships, each step brings you closer to becoming the confident, empowered version of yourself. Remember, self-respect isn't about being harsh or selfish. It's about knowing your value, honoring your needs, and communicating that to the world with clarity and confidence. The more you practice these habits, the more natural they'll become, and the more you'll feel in control of your life. As Marcus Aurelius once said, respect yourself above all. When you respect yourself, you don't need constant validation from others. You become your own source of strength, and that's where true confidence begins. So, take what you've learned today and start applying it, one small action at a time. Over time, those small actions will create big changes. Ask yourself, what's one thing I can do today to start respecting myself more? Whether it's setting a boundary, cutting back on unnecessary apologies, or simply taking time to care for yourself. Commit to it, and keep showing up for yourself every day. Thank you for listening. If you found this episode helpful, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing for more content on personal growth, confidence, and self-respect. And, as always, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What lesson resonated with you the most? Let's continue the conversation in the comments. Until next time, remember, respect yourself, stand tall, and keep growing.